Hi friends, welcome back to Mrs. DePriest's Outdoor Classroom. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about weather. And I've always found weather to be such a fascinating thing. How one day it can be warm and sunny, and the next day it can be cold and rainy and snowy. So it's just really a very interesting thing. And one of the important things that affects the weather is the temperature. Obviously, that's part of the weather, is how hot or cold it is. Also, water, and the water cycle has a lot to do with the weather. How I'm sure that there have been days when you've noticed it's been wet outside, or there's been a puddle, and then you'll go back a few minutes later and the puddle's all gone. Well, what happened to the water? It just disappeared. Well, the heat from the sun made the water evaporate, so it turned the liquid into tiny little water vapor molecules that float up into the air, so it turns it into a gas. And those water vapors, they don't stay in the air forever. Something happens to them, and they turn back into water drops again and rain down onto the earth. So I was looking up today. We got quite a few clouds up in our sky, and last night we had a big storm. I'm sure that some of you heard the thunder and lightning and the heavy rain in the middle of the night and early morning. But today we're going to talk a little bit about clouds and talk about how do clouds form, what makes clouds. And there's three very important things that you need in order to make a cloud. The first thing is warm, moist air. The second thing is a cooling process, something that makes that air cooler. And then the third thing is you need something that's called a nuclei or nucleus. And really all it is a little piece of dust or something that the water can kind of attach to. And it helps the water turn back into, or kind of holds on to the water droplets that are up in the air. Okay, so today I thought it would be kind of fun if we could make our own cloud using what we know about things that make clouds. Okay, the first thing, remember I said we need some warm, moist air. So I'm going to tell you a few things that you'll need in order to do this if you'd like to try this at home. And maybe you can pause the video and go and get these items. But you'll need a glass jar. It can be any size. It doesn't have to be this big. You'll need some warm water. Okay, doesn't need to be boiling. You may probably need to have an adult or an older sibling help you with the warm water part. Then you need the cooling process. I have ice cubes. All right, and then finally we talked about the nuclei or the nucleus that the water droplets can cling onto. It helps to form the cloud. And what works well is aerosol, and what I found works even better is hairspray aerosol. Okay, because that makes little particles, and the water can cling to that. Okay, so the very first thing we need to do is we're going to put some warm water into our jar. Okay. And then after you put that warm water in your jar, we're going to just kind of swish it around a little bit, and that warms the jar up. Okay, it's going to swish it around because we need to make some warm, moist air in there. Second thing is I'm going to put the lid on, except I'm putting it on upside down. Okay, because we want to trap that warm, moist air inside of there. And then we need a cooling process. And I'm going to use my ice cubes for the cooling process, and I'm going to put these on top of the lid. And that works well if you have the lid upside down, because then they won't slide off. There you go. All right, so I'm going to let that sit there a little while. What's happening right now is the warm air inside the jar is getting attracted to the cool air that is being produced by the ice cubes. So the ice cubes are making the air right up below it a little cooler. All right. So That's we're going to let that work for a minute or two, and you'll notice as you're looking that you can kind of see some condensation happening on the outsides of the jar over here. It's starting to fog up a little bit. Okay. All right, let's see if this works. So now I'm going to take my aerosol, and you've got to be kind of quick with this. Okay, I'm going to lift up the lid and give a quick spray, and then put the lid back on top. Okay, to try and trap that in there so that it can give it a chance to start working. All right, so here we go. All right, so we're going to let that work a little bit. I'm looking carefully, and I can kind of see things happening. Looks like it's kind of foggy in there, and it's swirling around a little bit. So we're going to give those particles a chance to grab onto that moist air inside of there. Okay? And what's happening right now is that moist air is kind of clinging on to the little, you could call them dust particles, from this. This is actually type of hairspray that worked really well. All right, now let's see what happens when I take the lid off. Let's see if that cloud is going to escape from the jar. Okay, you're going to have to look carefully. That's why I put the black up over here so you can see. Oh my goodness, look at that cloud coming out of there. We just created our own cloud in a jar. And this is exactly what happens to the clouds that we see in the sky. Water is evaporated off of the earth, and that happens when it's warm, and it floats up into the sky, and then up in the sky there may be little dust particles that cling onto that water, and they all kind of form together, and they form into a cloud. And eventually, after lots of water gets stuck on those little dust particles that are floating around inside the cloud, it gets so heavy that it falls to earth, and we call that precipitation or rain. Okay? So, you see our cloud is still busy coming out of here. There it comes. I hope that you all could make a cloud of your own at your house. And I hope that this helped you understand a little bit more about how clouds are formed. Enjoy the rest of your online learning week. And you guys are doing such a great job. I'm so proud of all of you. The hard work and the perseverance. I know it's tough, and I know that it's very different, but you guys are doing amazing. So keep up the good work. Bye.